Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen. I wanted to talk about what's next for Star Citizen, focusing on Alpha 4.3 and beyond, the next couple of major patches. We're expecting 4.3 to come in August, and probably for there not to be a wipe with that patch either, not a major wipe anyway, but both of those things, either of those things, could change. The big thing in this patch, at least at first glance, is the new cooperative zones and the underground facilities, the abandoned one. Cooperative zones, they're not an event, they're not a sandbox. They are like contested zones, but not contested, cooperative, where investigation, puzzle solving, and cooperation with players around you will make completing the objectives easier. These are going to be largely situated, if not entirely situated, in the new abandoned underground facilities. These are located on every moon of the Stanton system. Every moon is interesting because every moon of Stanton, that's a reasonable amount of these facilities, and there could be multiple facilities on each of those moons. These enormous multi-leveled structures are used for the new cooperative zones coming in 4.3. The Onyx facilities are the top secret research facilities where Dr. Jorrit performed his most egregious and unethical tests to address the regen crisis. These abandoned facilities are divided into 3 wings, each with their own series of challenges, dangers, and discoveries to be made. They're called Onyx facilities. They're black sites. They're where they're doing the evil research, even more evil than the other ASD facilities. Players encouraged to work together. That's the interesting bit there as well, right? Like, we know that these are sort of expansions of CIG building interiors for content and expanding points of interest, that sort of stuff. But these sound pretty massive, and they're nice to house them underground. We don't have to affect too much of the planet to do that. And CIG have previously talked about the depths as a FPS PvE loot extraction experience that you can go in, try and get further and further and further in that, and it sort of saves your progress at like what tier of the depths you're at. Is it possible that these underground facilities, these cooperative zones, are instanced? Maybe. It's possible. That's one way of ensuring the cooperative nature of them. That's one of the big questions. How do you make them cooperative? I love loot extraction and MMA dungeons and the potential of combining those together with a PvE experience for Star Citizen. That is something I welcome. But how are they going to make them enforced cooperative? Are they going to be exploitable? Are they going to become just like contested zones? We'll have to wait and see. We also know that they are adding FPS AI turrets, anti-personnel turrets that players will want to avoid or destroy, and these will be additional threats for PvE challenges. I believe these will feature heavily in those facilities. Maybe they'll come down and attack you if you get a puzzle wrong. Something else that might be part of this as well is mission pickup on location. This enables new missions to be discovered and added to journals when you approach or enter a designated area. This could be things like you've gone into a room and now you need to escape it, or it goes, look around the facility, or try to find X because you've read a journal entry, or you found out something that says or suggests that you need a key card or whatever. That sort of stuff. You discovered a body and it goes, find their key card, find their hand that you need to open a door. But yeah, you do something like that, or something like that happens, and it goes, mission added to your Moby class. You don't need to accept it. This enables CIG to do some interesting stuff with missions that you might take a mission and know some of the objectives, but not all of them, or a mission might evolve in a way that you didn't expect, and it goes, that mission's failed, or that mission's actually complete, but now it's leading to this one. Ladders 2.0. They're coming in the 4.3 patch. These were tested in 4.2.1 on the PTU, and they are significantly better than previous ladders that we've had. You actually have to walk into the ladder at a proper angle, otherwise you don't attach to it, so it doesn't like suck you in. Actually, the feature from 4.2.1, let me read that out to you. Implementation of further ladder systems into Star Citizen. This update includes many new traversal mechanics to all ladders in ships and environments around the persistent universe. This includes look around while on ladder, 180 degree whilst moving, 355 degree while stationary. That gives you a nice range of movement and you don't feel like you're stuck and scared on a ladder. Midpoint enter and exits from ladders. Being able to jump off ladders while looking in a direction. Leaning, used to dodge debris, stuff like that, or being shot at or whatever. Collision. This is like if another actor player creatures on the ladder that will prevent your traversal up or down. FPS required enter angle, so you actually have to face and look at the ladder. Ladder exit into crouch and small spaces as well, so you can have like Jeffrey's tubes and things like that. Joining and leaving a ladder has also been improved, so ladders should no longer vacuum players up who happen to wander past and will require an interaction to step on by directly running into them at a direct angle to attach. Approaching a ladder midpoint also provides an interaction to step onto it. Ladders can also now be exited by jumping at any point by looking in a direction and jumping. Jump input on its own will cause the player to let go and push away slightly from the ladder, while using a ASD key while jumping will send the player in that direction. Entering a stunned, incapacitated or overdosed or even down state will drop the player from the ladder. Some pretty good traversal improvements there. We've got some more FPS focused stuff as well. We've got the Volt Laser Sniper Rifle as CIG expand out the Volt weapons. This one's called the Zenith, a new powerful weapon that combines the raw punch of a charged sniper shot with the rapid fire precision of a marksman rifle. The Zenith Sniper's ability to automatically charge when held gives you far more flexibility in the battlefield and the cost of being audible to possible hostiles, so I believe it hums. Managing heat is, however, crucial as overheating renders the weapon temporarily inoperable, leaving players exposed to enemy fire. Really like the idea of that. Also, they've got the Light Geist armor for snipers, specializing in stealth gameplay with high mobility. CIG have obviously been talking since CitizenCon about trying to get the character classes into the game that's based on equipment. Your equipment and what you bring defines your soft class. Also, there's some special light combat stealth armor that they're going to be adding to Cloud Imperium. That might just be a variant of that Geist armor. I do want to talk more about this as well, actually. FPS stealth gameplay and infiltration. It's sort of hinted at this patch to a degree. CIG talking in the monthly report recently more and more about NPC searching and investigating disturbances. So it's very possible that CIG are putting this in soon. There's also an armor mentioned for 4.3.x, so unlikely to be for the 4.3 initial patch. Some medium utility armor, the Ambrose armor. So this could be armor that makes you better at mining or salvaging, something like that. We know there's some new hairstyles for 4.3 as well that they're putting in, and we saw a sneak peek of them in a recent newsletter. They're just going to continue to add customizations to characters, faces to the DNA pool, and more of these hairstyles. Wickelow's special ships. We know they're adding a variety of ships to the missions pool for Wickelow. The Starlance Attack, the Drake Golem, the Anvil Terrapin Medic. All of these are going to have upgraded components. You do favors and do the missions for Wickelow, you get those as rewards, and it's not RNG anymore, which is absolutely awesome. Dynamics, no, this is a newer addition to 4.3 that was revealed relatively recently. So this is going to affect select locations where snow already exists. Think around Microtech, for example, leveraging the same environmental systems that powers dynamic rain. This means snowfall will now appear based on weather conditions. At the same time, I would expect some general tweaks to rain and clouds and wind and stuff like that. They shore a lot of that stuff up and optimize at the same time often. Some other expectations of this patch, we could see the return of ground turbulence maybe. So it was removed in 4.2.1 after being far too invasive in the 4.2 patch or wobble patch, where a load of ships would constantly need to adjust while close to landing, close to the ground, while you're mining, that sort of stuff. So CIG said it would return to just give a hint, a flavour of thrusters fighting against gravity rather than waging a war against the planet. Although I'm expecting CIG to get a load of hotfixes and more fixes in for 4.2.1, I'm expecting some potentially bigger fixes for networking, latency, desync, interaction delay, that sort of stuff for 4.3, along with potentially some fixes for freight elevators and cargo. Freight elevators are one of the most annoying things in Star Citizen at the moment, them being buggy, fiddly. At the moment, for example, you can get them working a lot of the time as long as no one's interfered with the top of the elevator and you just put one layer of cargo in. Some of this stuff just needs to be fixed and working, and yeah, it's an alpha and there are problems like this that are discovered and oddly rear their head when they fix something else, but hopefully that, and a load of continued balance as well. CIG have been and continue to tweak ships and ship archetypes, weapons, components, and specific ships. some new ships and vehicles will likely turn up, or at least one or two. I'm feeling that they might release a Ballista Centurion or Atlas chassis vehicle with this patch. The Apollo is actually pretty close to release as well. I think it was in Lot 0 in June. There's potentially a load of ships that we don't know about and vehicles that could turn up and variants and stuff like that. I have a feeling they might be medical in nature. They want more and more reasons to use ground vehicles, medical vehicles, cargo vehicles that are used in certain areas and that can help bring cargo to your ship if they can't get into a certain area. I think is going to be useful. I have to wait and see though. Expect new missions. CIG have been expanding out the ship, combat and escort missions, and I would expect more of that and for them to make use of those archetypes for missions more and more. Beyond 4.3 and like 4.3.1, 4.3.x or whatever, it looks like they might be doing a permanent thing with each 4.x patch. Let me give you an example. Stormbreaker or cooperative zones, that sort of thing, and then an event with each 4.x.x patch. I expect a new event with 4.3.1. That's likely to continue with the Regen Crisis storyline, but also they have the irradiated Apex Valakar. So I'm expecting to see a more deadly, non-irradiated version like the one we saw at CitizenCon turn up pretty soon, and maybe some other creatures as well in the not too distant future. CIG have been moving ahead with Genesis and Planet Tech 5, dynamic weather, stuff like that, so expect to see more and more dynamic weather things, potentially more biomes. They do want more and more exploration, so more locations, like those massive underground facilities. Vulkan integration, CIG want to move over to Vulkan fully at some point, and they've been working on that a lot, and in the next couple of patches expect at least a variety of improvements to Vulkan if they don't move over to it. It is sort of hard to tell where they are with some of this stuff and when CIG will do a let's move over to this, but a lot of these things, a lot of this sort of new stuff will turn up on the tech preview branch or in PTU before going to live. Like engineering, for example. Engineering should be coming to the tech preview at some point over the next few weeks or months, hopefully sooner rather than later. I was expecting it by now actually, but we know that they've had loads of updates with engineering and improvements there, so really looking forward to testing that on the tech preview build when it turns up. We know also that CIG have been working on NPCs using vehicles. That was talked about in the monthly report as well. Actually, they said there, fixes for NPCs driving vehicles were added, which is a feature the team hope to add to the PU at some point. I think that's a cool addition for them to get. NPCs on the ground using vehicles, using ATLSs, things like that as well. That will be interesting. Quantum boost and travel updates. Now, this is probably a little further out, but we could see it by the end of the year. That's what I'm hoping. CIG wants to remove nav mode. So if you have your quantum drive powered or not, that's going to be the factor that allows you to quantum travel, quantum boost. You can use your weapons with the new mode as well now is the idea, but you can't use your shields. But your kind of nav mode is literally just, is your quantum drive powered? And we also know that Cloud Imperium are continuing to plod on with atmospheric flight improvements and that sort of stuff, and I am expecting to see more and more of those with the 4.3 patch and 4.3.1 patch. Boom! That's it for your 4.3 and beyond update. I'm interested to know what you think is going to be turning up in the next 2-3 months. Events-wise, over the next couple of months, we have the Ship Showdown, which probably won't have much of a effect in-game, but it might. We'll have to wait and see. Obviously, there'll be like a free fly and some ships that you can make use of based on the top 8 ships in the Ship Showdown, the most popular ones there, and there might be some interesting ones with like the Idris and stuff. And also in September, what have you got? Talk Like a Pirate Day, Pirate Week they do in Star Citizen. That could certainly be tied to something they want to do event-wise in 4.3.1. Anyway, tell me what you think in the comments below. What are you expecting to see in the next couple of patches? What are you hoping to see? Are you liking the idea of cooperative zones and those underground abandoned facilities? What are your thoughts and questions? Chuck it in the comments down below. And also, something you should do going down below is click on the links to NordVPN. Go to nordvpn.com/BoredGamer. Use the links below. Get huge discounts on NordVPN for better accessibility, security, and privacy on the interwebs. I love it. I use it. NordVPN. Every month we have a ship giveaway, and July 2025 is no different. We're giving away a Prowler utility with lifetime insurance and a Star Citizen game package. All you need to jump into the game with a stealthy cargo ship. It's all you need to start your career as a hauler or maybe a pirate. Comment on any of our videos made during this month to be in for a chance of winning that. If you would like to further support the channel, consider becoming a channel member with the join button under the videos, or a Patreon. Links down below for that. And there's loads of other links that you can help support the channel with, from Game Glass to THRUSTMASTER, loads of products that you will potentially want for your Star Citizen experience. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you have a great month, and I'll see you in the verse.